Okay guys, good afternoon to the Bergen Architecture School Digital Challenge. Together with Piksel, we are going to do a workshop today, how to publish architecture projects online with WEBGL. And I will show you different environments that are based on three.js. The good part is that this workshop is also recorded. So for anyone who will join us a little bit later, they will have a chance to also check the beginning. And also for you, this should be a reference tool that you can go back and also always hear my comments and check what we have been doing. Okay, so today's workshop, I put all the workshop notes in the wiki, where I saw that some of you students have already started to upload your projects and to create your project websites. So I put my workshop notes down here, but there will also be still a PDF description of it available that goes according to this video. So for any one of you who wants to follow me in the notes, you can log into the wiki and see the notes from there and click through the links in your own pace. So today's workshop is scheduled for last around 2 hours. So the workshop is split in 2 parts. So for the next hour, I would like to give you brief introduction into 3 different tools that we consider usable and feasible to document your projects online. This is the 3D Alloy extension that we implemented into the Mediawiki. Then there is Sketchfab, an open online platform and repository that offers quite some powerful tools to document your work. And linked to it is the Mozilla Hubs and Mozilla Spoke, an environment that you can use to create 3D rooms, 3D environments that you can then look at not just on the desktop, but also with VR headsets and use for visualizations. The second part will be a practical part, so also to give you the time that you can try out these tools yourself, that you maybe also continue with your project pages that you already started. Try to implement these tools according to your needs and for your projects. Of course, this will take longer than just today, but we would like to give you a quick start, a jump start, in order for you to continue individually. And we will also still be available for questions in the Jitsi channel. The link you find in your email and also on the wiki. And also we are available through the general email that you can contact us. Also, today you should have received an email with a spreadsheet link, and in this spreadsheet we would like you to put your project info and your contact information. You can use this as a tool to get in contact with us and ask your questions or other comments that link to your project. And this way we want to create like a frequently asked questions database. So maybe several of you have similar questions, so we want to pool them together and collect them, so that you can also read through the questions that other people have, and maybe you find some answers and solution by reading the FAQs also. Okay, so this is the brief overview over the next 2 hours, and I would say that we just start and jump into the first tool, which is the implementation for an extension for the Mediawiki, where you just see also that this documentation of the workshop is published. It's a Mediawiki extension called 3D Alloy, and it allows you to add 3D models and a viewer of 3D models to each of the pages, each of the sites that you are working on. It's generally based on WEBGL. Since all of the tools that we will look at today, I thought that I will briefly mention it. It's a web graphics library, and it's also a JavaScript API, so that you can render 2D and 3D graphics within the web browser. And one of the big benefits is that all standard browsers of today support it, so you don't need any special plugins or you don't need to install any software. So this is quite handy for viewing, because you don't need any special software besides your browser. The 3D Alloy extension that you find in the wiki, it uses the JavaScript object notation, and a brief abbreviation of it is JSON. So whenever I talk about this JSON file format, you know what I mean. It's an open standard file format. It's used across various different applications. It's used as an interchange format, and it's also used to present basic 3D objects, models, and shapes. So here I would like to give you a sort of a template so that you can integrate these objects into your pages. So here we can already see one of these objects. It's a basic cube shape, and by clicking the left mouse button, it's possible to rotate with the mouse around these objects, see it from different perspectives. I can also zoom in and out with my mouse, and And it's also possible to have an auto rotation. So when you start the page, it rotates automatically across the screen and shows it from various perspectives. So the implementation should be rather easy for you. The acceptable models, the formats are, as I said already, JSON file, but also other files are supported that are also used, for example, for 3D printings. So how to use it is simply that you click the upload a file link in the left navigation bar. So if I scroll up to the main navigation that you see here on the left side, here I can click upload a file in the tools section, and some of you have already encountered this page when you are uploading any other file formats like JPEG files, PNGs, photos, and so on. You use this page as well. In the end, you can search for your source file. Here, your file name. You select your file that you want to upload. I select the cube JSON file, and then when you scroll down, you can upload the file. I already uploaded this. You can see here to view or search previously uploaded files, go to the list of uploaded files. So if you click here, you can also see all the other files that have been uploaded over the last days. So there you can also double check if your file has been uploaded. And then once this is done, you can go back to your page and here. So first step is done. We upload a file and we select the file that we want to upload and how to include it into our page is that we have to use a specific syntax in order to make this file visible. So this is from the page of the 3D model alloy, that in the end you reference the file name model.json, and then you have certain parameters that you can address. So I go here, you see it a bit more in detail. You can specify the width and the height of the drawing area. This is always put in pixels. So there is an automatic default value of 200 pixels, which is rather small, but you can of course choose the size that you find is necessary for your model. You can also experiment with different values. Value between 400 and 800 normally seems to be reasonable, as we see here. Then if you upload a JSON file, you normally don't have any texture mapping included. So you can also put your model in a certain color coding. this color coding is in a hexadecimal format or short hex format. So there is a default value, but here I also put a link to a website called Color Hex, and there you can easily select a color you want to use. Also up here you have a different color selections. Then you know the hex code, and by copy pasting it with Command C, you can then transfer the number to your file. There are still, I think these are the main parameters that you might need. There are still others like the opacity, or you can put a scale value or further description. Normally you have this description in your text also. Okay, so just to have a look at how this can work, we can go here to the edit page, and then you can see here the parameters that I used. So in double brackets I am referring to the file, which I called cube.json. Then the second parameter are the pixels. Now I put 900 times 400, and a certain color scheme of red, as you have seen. This I can also then change by going to this Color Hex website that I have showed you before. So here I can also choose then different green, copy it, and edit it again here, for example, if I want to change something. Normally you just save your changes, and then it should also be possible to view the changed, adapted syntax. So now you see that it's shown in this green that we have chosen in this Color Hex page. But of course you can also go and change, for example, the size of the area that you want to show. So just to find it myself also again, here I can make the area bigger. See how this looks like. So now the model is shown in a bigger scale. But of course also I can upload different files, and as I have done before, you can see here, for example, a file called sphere.json, and by editing this I can just refer to, instead of cube.json, I copy paste the sphere.json file, make it a little bit smaller, and again when I save it, you should see now a different model. The color stayed the same, I didn't change this. So besides knowing the syntax and the parameters that you can use, I think a rather easy to use and straightforward way of viewing your models and integrating them in a page, in a wiki page. So that you are able to use this as a reference point, I have also put here different links for you. For example, how you can export from Blender to three.js or to JSON files, so that you can integrate it in your Mediawiki page. So this is one reference, and then between the program Rhino and JSON, there is a link also that should show you a tool, a plugin, how you export your models into a JSON format. AutoCAD is here, but in general, if you search for export the name of the program and JSON files, you should be able to find the right, either a plugin or a script. There are also some online tools, something to try out. Here is also an overview how to control the models. It's pretty straightforward. You can, if it's in a non-rotation view like this, you can use the keypad, but of course you can also use the mouse, and that's basically the most important parts that you will use. But also as an explanation for other people who look at the documentation of your page, it's maybe a good way to just include this control also, so that everyone is aware of how to use it. And I also put here as an additional link to the Mediawiki the extension that you can look at additional informations if needed, just to have the reference there. Okay, so this would be the first way of showing your 3D models in a Mediawiki. A second tool, a second way, which is a little bit more advanced, but also offers more possibilities, is the platform Sketchfab that you have already encountered in a previous workshop, also where we looked at Hubs Mozilla. So just as a recap and as an addition, Sketchfab is a platform where you can publish and share different 3D, VR, and augmented reality content. I opened the website here also. So in the end, it's a platform, it's an online community, it's a social network built around 3D models. And here you already see different categories that they have. You can search according to these categories, also look what the staff picks or which models are downloadable. The different models you can upload, you can share. You can also set up a store where you can sell your created 3D models that are then used in different computer games, for visualizations, for newspapers, but various different possibilities are there. And you see the downloadable ones are often the ones that are also available for free, but there is a whole store marketplace architecture behind it. So also you can buy and sell your models, and this is then also shown depending on like where you enter, which one you enter. Like the scammer, for example, you can then see the 3D model and get further information about the person who has designed it, in which categories it is, how many triangles it has, or how. And here you have an overview of other models. So basically quite a big community platform, and what we will look at mostly is this representation mode, because what you can show here on the website and within this social media platform, I would say, you can also show on your website. So the benefit is you can not just share it with your friends, but it has this three.js WebGL viewer integrated, and this of course makes it easy to not just show it within this page, but also that you can integrate it in your wiki website. So for this, of course, you need to first create an account on Sketchfab, which is pretty straightforward. You just, I have here my account, but once you log out and log in again, or then you can sign up here on the upper right corner. And I'm not going to do this now, but you can choose a username, create a password, and then you get an email with your account. And that's basically it. After you have done this and you have, then you can log in, and then you can also start uploading your own files. So there are many different files that you can upload, and one beauty of this whole thing is also that there are many different possibilities to export directly from your 3D program of choice to Sketchfab. So I have also put the links here for your program of choice. So when we look at these exporters or export plugins, then you can really see that there is a big variety of programs. I just see like Blender, Maya, Photoshop, SketchUp, like various different programs where you can design and then straight out of the program export the file that it gets uploaded. So each of the pages has explanation then how to further process it and how to use it. Some of them have also short explanation videos and a quick tutorial how to use it. I also put here on this export page, there are also video tutorials, as I mentioned. So on the YouTube channel of Sketchfab, there are different videos explaining how you can export directly from different programs. Here is Unity, Maya, Blender, and so on. But also the Sketchfab main channel is quite interesting because you can get various additional input and see how are people using Sketchfab. So that's definitely worth to check out. And since we are with the links, and I put the YouTube channel here you also see the Sketchfab forum. So if you have questions, this is a place to connect with the community and to also get answers for your questions. It's a very active community in all different categories. So you should get a good and quick help there. Okay, but to continue, you create an account, you upload your model, which is rather straightforward. You have various options how to upload it. Either you use a plugin and export it straight out of your program that you are using, or you it also supports a variety of file formats, so that you can upload a whole zip file where not just the 3D model but also the textures and everything is included, and can upload it also that way. There is then like, it takes of course a certain time to process it, and once this model is uploaded and ready, you can start to link to it. So in the end, your profile page should then can look something like this. On the one hand, you see what you have uploaded. You can view your file, look it up from different angles. You always have like a setting page where you can also change the resolution of your textures. You have a model inspector included where you can also see get the wireframes visible. Sometimes you can also choose between 2D and 3D. And here you have different render options so that you can also just see different the roughness of the surfaces, bump maps, and the wireframe. Yeah, quite as for an online tool where you don't have to include any or install any plugins. Quite a powerful overview that you can have. Okay, let's go back to this. Model inspector, you can always here also. Again. And if you have a virtual reality headset, you can also get it rendered for this. So I go in a full screen mode, and now you can see the left and the right viewpoint for your eyes. So you can also see it in VR if you happen to have a VR headset. But we go back now to the standard view. So yeah, quite a nice tool, quite a nice way to present your 3D projects with some textures also. So how do I get this now on my wiki page once I have it here? The nice part is that you have a embed function down here, which opens an embed viewer, and by just here click to copy, it says here on the text, so I can click once within this text box, then it says copied to clipboard, and by just doing it this way, I have here also for you the copy pasted text that you can see. So here you can you don't have to worry much about this HTML code if you don't understand it. Just accept it that it's there. And to integrate it to your website or to your page, you just have to use this HTML in the beginning and in the end. So just to show it to you, how you can use it, you go into the editing mode of the wiki page, and then you put first HTML in brackets, then you copy paste the text that you have here, the code, and then you close the same thing with the HTML closing tag again. So once you have done this, I have done this already, so I'm not gonna do it again, but I have copy pasted this in here, and then you see the 3D model gets integrated here into a frame, and you can look at it completely the same way as you would do here on the website of Sketchfab. So you have the same functionalities. You can go in a full screen mode, see it like this, and or also just have it as part of your project documentation. I put a second example here also, just to show you that you can play around with different representation modes. So here, for example, it automatically rotates around its axis, similar to the 3D alloy JSON extension that you have. How can you do this? Going back to the Sketchfab page, to the embed code, you have here different options. So you can choose to automatically start loading this 3D model, that you have certain animation at the entrance, then that you have a turntable animation. So this means that it would rotate automatically, and you can preload certain textures so that then the image gets shown immediately with the right textures. The model gets shown with the right textures. So by just changing the options to your needs and how you want to show it, it automatically updates the code, the embed code that you see down here, and by just copying it once, it gets them. You can also change the size if you want to have it bigger, but 640 x 480 is seen as a standard format in a way. And you always have the possibility to view it in a full screen mode, and also certain shortcuts like a F for full screen also works in a way. Now it screened this. Okay. So yeah, I think a pretty valuable tool as well to upload your files, create an account, upload your models, and integrate them through Sketchfab into your website in a way. So not just for documenting your files or your projects, Sketchfab is a great tool, but also in the end for using it in various other platforms. So what you can do through Sketchfab is, for example, to get certain models also 3D printed. So that's then also kind of their business strategy, that they have cooperations with other companies, other website services, and you can get your models, for example, 3D printed. But also there is a link to Mozilla Spoke, where that you can use, and Mozilla Hubs, so that you can use your Sketchfab models there as well. So as we have seen in a previous workshop, Mozilla Spoke and Mozilla Hubs are 3D social environments. They also work as a virtual reality platforms, but you can also use them through your laptop or desktop PC. They run in your browser, and you can create your own virtual spaces and invite others to join by just using a URL. So by quickly going to Hubs, you can see this was one of the previous rooms that we have been looking at, but you can also create a room quickly and then have this 3D environment where you are able to walk through and show videos, show 3D models, and so on. So with the Sketchfab and the uploading of your models to this platform, you can also reuse them in the Hubs Mozilla. And I think that's where the powerful tool then comes into play. When I enter this room, I'm not accessing my microphone now, but just to show you that I can here then import different other objects, and there is also a link to the Sketchfab platform where I can choose from different categories, but also where I can then use a custom URL or file to upload in a way. So just quickly creating an object from Sketchfab to show you that it's easily possible to include this in a 3D environment room that I can just walk through and experience. So that could also be a way for you to show your projects. And yeah, this is the loading icon, by the way. So this is always shown when your object is being generated, and sometimes it seems like as of today that it can take a little bit longer to generate this object. Well, okay, there was an error now. That's also new. Always tricky when you show things. But we will try it out soon ourselves, and hopefully it works then better. So on the one hand, as we have used Spoke Hubs already, I count on it that you are already aware of it, what it is, and that you can use it as a VR environment to meet with other people, to talk with them, to see videos, or also just to present your projects. Now we would like to show a little bit more into the Spoke. And Spoke is the 3D environment to create these social scenes that you can use then in Hubs. So anything that any scene, room that you want to use, that you want to walk around, you can create also yourself, use your own models that you can create these 3D environments to walk through. So to go back to Spoke, once you are on the website, you can start a new project. So these are the standardized projects, the default projects that you can choose also in the Hubs scene. So when you want to import a different scene, you can find my scenes, but also here you can see the different default scenes, or you can create a scene with Spoke, and that's where we are here now. So I will just go for an empty project so that you see the overview and that we can take a look at the navigation possibilities. So since everything is done in the browser, it takes a while to load and to show you this default overview. So just by clicking and dragging with the mouse, I can move around in this field. This is kind of the standard starting point where you have this terrain crater. But yeah, in the end, you can also delete it, start from a completely blank one. So in the end, you have here in the middle, you see yourself as a viewpoint. So in Hubs, you always start out with your person somewhere when you enter a room, and this point is called the spawn point, and this would be kind of the starting point for the world that you come in. You see different overview points here. I quickly zoom this up here. So you have pre-defined models and tags that you can use. So here there is also a tab called Sketchfab, and here you can import different designs and models that you have uploaded to the Sketchfab platform. There are also an architecture kit which can be useful for you if you want to design a standard house environment in a way. So there are different floors, different windows, walls. It's a little bit like a Lego kit. I had the feeling that you can have this predefined objects, stairs, handrails, elements that you can use for designing your own house in a way. And yeah, so these were the two things. There are different other polygons from Google, another platform that you can use to upload or integrate files. Of course, all of these objects you can also use as kind of assets to your room. So I just use, for example, this overview, and then now I have to, of course, see a bit that I get this back. Okay. Okay, so now I'm here in the back. I have to take my position cursor to put myself here inside this. So yeah, it's something to also experience yourself. I have not the best mouse here, as I realize right now, to use this, but it gives an overview. So here I have my entry point now and a room. So if I click on the model itself, as you are know, you can see here also I can change the scale, the size of the whole thing, and scale it higher, bigger. I can use different rotation options, and within the properties to position it in a way that how I want. Then here on the side, what I wanted to go through also is, as always, the option, of course, to save the project with Command and S. I can also export the project. There is like a spoke project file, and import other files like this, and I can straight publish it to the Hubs environment when I think that I am ready to try it out, to test it out in a way. So what is most important by whatever elements you put here is that you select the your design, you upload your models through the Sketchfab environment. That's how you can import different models that you have created beforehand. It's not so much a tool where you create within the browser your models. It's more an assembly tool, so to say. And also very limited compared to the standard 3D programs that you are used to. So better use it just for assembling it and do the main part in other programs. Once you are more or less happy with what you have created, or if you want to try out things and see how they look like in Hubs, then you can click on the upper right corner and the Publish to Hubs. You can give it a project name, still save it, and then after this process is done, it creates the Hubs scene that you can then look at and walk around. So it's basically a back and forth oscillation between the Mozilla Spoke and the Mozilla Hubs environment that you can assemble your models, and then you export them and you try it out how they look like in the Hubs environment. This way you can make your models more interactive, more approachable in a way that you can view them in a 3D space. You can, in the meantime, when this is exporting, I go in this room again. Whenever you have a room, you can invite then other people to it, discuss your models. There is also like a microphone that you can talk with each other and discuss these projects in this 3D environment. So the exporting takes a while. This was all in real time now. there is still a performance check. So you can see the as low, like the less lights you use, the less textures you use, the faster, of course, this process and export is done. As a recommendation, I'll tell you that if you keep the polygons of your models below 50,000 and also the file size below 16 megabytes, that would then resemble like a low bandwidth connection. And as a start, I mean, try it out yourself. You can easily max it out, and then it takes forever to load, because it's not just on the one hand that you need to export the scene, but also then once you invite other people to join this scene in Hubs, it can take quite a while to load, depending on how complex your model is. So also try it out for yourself in the workshop part now, how it works for you, and how how you can use it for your own purposes in a way. Okay, so now we see the scene here in the background, and I can see this test room. I would actually wanted to access it also. Okay, so here we see the test room that I have quickly created by walking you through the main navigation and overviews. So we still have the standardized background creator and one of the models that I have integrated here. So yeah, the benefit of course is that you can now walk within these models, have a look at them, and when you invite other people, you can also discuss and talk about your creations in a way. Okay, so jumping back to the workshop notes, I was already mentioning the import and export functions. So main import is via Sketchfab, or if you have created spoke scenes beforehand, you can include it that way. And to export it, you can publish it directly to Hubs, as I have quickly shown you in this fast run through. Or you can export it, but it's mainly usable within Hubs, so as an additional environment. Okay, so I put you several links here also in the workshop notes. So on the one hand, keyboard and mouse shortcuts, always easier to use them. They are very similar, if not the same, as in Mozilla Hubs also. So that's good to have, I think. And then also there are ways of optimizing scenes for spoke. Like as I said, to keep textures lower, to have less polygons, keep the file sizes small, and so on, makes the whole like environment that you are creating more optimized. There is also an additional introduction video also to the hubs, which we have covered in a last workshop. And there is a Discord app. If you are using Discord, the spoke support team and a kind of a forum is using Discord mainly. So here you can have a chat function that you can ask your questions and follow other comments and so on. Okay, so this was my overview through the WebGL and three.js. We have looked at 3 different ways how you can integrate integrate 3D models in your project documentation. Once again, to the wiki page, here are all the links and all the texts. Also, you can always go on edit and then you can copy paste the different like models, like the texts, code snippets in a way that you can immediately copy paste it to your page and then try to adapt it in a way. So the practical part of the workshop would be now for you, that you have time to try it out. So upload a 3D model to Sketchfab, to the platform, create an account, upload a model there, use the different functions to embed the model into your project wiki page. Then also to create a scene in the Mozilla Spoke environment and to test it out in the Hubs VR scenes, or to just try out exporting a model in a JSON format and use the 3D Alloy extension for your wiki page. So this would be the practical parts that would last now for the next 45 minutes, I would say. I would end the stream here, and there is also the link to the Jitsi talk, the Jitsi channel, where we can continue to interact more easily, because there we can actually talk with each other, and if you have questions, then it's easier to help you there. Also, if you have questions, then let's meet till around 2 o'clock in this Jitsi channel. You can also share your screen with me in the Jitsi channel, so there it should be easier then to help you further. But of course, in general, we are also available through email, but this is the faster way to help you now in this remote workshop situation. And please also, once again, don't forget to fill out the spreadsheet that you got in your email with questions that you have about tools, also tools that we presented to you in the last weeks, so that we can come back to you and help you to document your projects well. Okay, so I will stop the stream now, make a 2-minute break, and then we will continue our discussion in the Jitsi channel. Okay, thank you very much, and see you